the speaker view.
There it is.
There it is. Go. Your ad is off. And now speaker view.
We're good? Okay. And it's about almost 10 o'clock.
Close enough.
Yeah, close enough.
By the time you get them to sit down.
They're so rowdy. Hello, hello. Good morning, good morning. It's almost 10 o'clock and we're getting ready to have our discussion and everybody's busy. And we have more.
Ring the bell.
Welcome. Good morning. Welcome to the Positive Living Center.
We're starting.
Joe, I have to call the children together. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. If you have phones, would you please mute your phone so that we don't hear the theme song of Verizon? And we are unmuted, so you can hear us just fine, Missy. Perfect. I have the honor to host today, and my name is Reverend Dr. Judy DeRosa. I'm Ichota Cherokee. I'd like to welcome everyone. And it looks like we have some visitors. Is this your first time here at the Positive Living Center? Could you tell us where you're coming from? Do you live here?
Yeah, we live in Oakhurst, just like less than 10 minutes up the road.
Excellent. And you stand up and tell us your name, introduce yourself.
I'm Shayla.
Hi, Shayla.
And I've been here about 2 years. Always lived in the city and wanted to just kind of exit that and teach my little boy, who's 2, how to live more sustainably and connect to nature and just get back to our roots. And so Oakhurst has been a really beautiful place to do that.
Yeah.
And just feel more grounded with animals and, you know, kind of what we're envisioning and manifesting into our future. So.
Excellent, excellent. And this is
I'm her mom.
Mom. Hi, Mom.
Her name is Kate.
Welcome to the Positive Living Center. It's a very loving spiritual opportunity to hear different avenues of thought and awareness. So we welcome you. Actually, in the seat in front of you is a little card that has the prayer protection, and it has the Offertory prayer. And you're welcome to take those home. I have one on my altar, and it just helps me to be a little more mindful. Sometimes we get going so fast that we go, wait, stop, calm down. Be in the moment, be grateful. So that's our gift to you. Today is June 26th, 2022, and it is the year of creating a healthy lifestyle. And our themes for June are resilience, connection, and unity. I don't know who's doing the music today.
Missy.
Miss Missy. I have it here in my note, Missy. And Missy's on Zoom. And we have been using Zoom for a couple of years now and finding it works. It allows the people that we love from all across the country to join in if they have the opportunity. And so if you will get yourself centered and seated and get that feeling of all the things that we rush to do, that this is the place where we can let that rush go away and that we are in this essence of spiritual awakening. As we hear Missy's voice as she sings, just take that loving energy in, and then we'll have a few minutes of quiet. Okay? And I'd like to introduce Missy, and we'll be praying for our meditation.
In the great calm within me, in the great calm within me, I rest in peace and security. I breathe in the light of the Spirit of God. I breathe in the light of the Spirit of God and set the flame in my heart aglow, and set the flame in my heart aglow. This flame is the spirit of all life. This flame is the spirit of all life, all love, joyful action, and eternal truth. I must radiate creation's harmony. I must radiate creation's harmony. I am perfect. I am whole now. I am perfect. I am whole now. In the great calm within me, in the great calm within me, I rest in peace and security.
Calm, clear, peaceful thoughts. as we open our day, we go forward in peace. As we hear children's voices, we know we all grow. That was beautiful, Missy. Thank you so much. And for our spiritual thought today, we have John Lalonde, who will be on Zoom also. And welcome, John.
Well, good morning, everyone. I am especially glad to have this Zoom option today. So I want to talk some about resilience and connection, two of our themes. And as I've talked about before in other spiritual thoughts, and as most of you know, I had a 40+ year career working in various roles with abused and neglected children. And resilience has been an interest of mine for a long time, because some of these kids that are removed from their family's home due to abuse or neglect do well when they get into a foster home or start living with other families. So some do well, with their peers. They do well at school, and generally don't get in trouble. But many others that are from very similar circumstances do not do well at all. They end up running away, getting involved with drugs and alcohol, antisocial kinds of behavioral things, and other risk-taking sorts of behaviors. Even siblings coming from the same home and exposure to the same kinds of physical abuse or even sexual abuse, if there's multiple victims, exposed to the same degree of domestic violence between their parents. There can be differences between those siblings, that some do well and some do not. So what is it? Why, I've long wondered, why is it that some do well and some do not, and circumstances can be pretty similar. And there have been social service studies on this, and one of the most significant factors is the capacity of the child to connect with other people. So maybe they connect with a teacher or a counselor or another family member or a coach with whom they feel an emotional connection. And my observation is it isn't the words that are said by that helping person or the advice that they give, but it's more the emotional regard, the love that is contained within the attention that other person gives to this this abused or neglected child. That it's that love and that connection that shows up for this child as a resilience. So I wanted to use that as a metaphor, this connection as a similar or as the significant factor in how come some kids do well when looking at what is it for adults. What is it that we, as adults, what is it that we connect to that causes us to be resilient? And so searching online for some insight into this, I read a research study from 2019, not that long ago, and it was entitled, as research studies are, Spiritual Resilience, Understanding the Protection and Promotion of Well-Being in the Later Life. Isn't that just about the coldest title there could possibly be? But spiritual resistance is what it was looking at in this research. What they did was create a questionnaire that they interviewed 64 adults between the ages of 52 and 92. And they were trying to get at what adversity and hardships the participants experienced in their life, and then look at the internal and external factors that they used in dealing with those experiences. So just as a side note, these subjects, 1/3 were black, 2/3 were white, and they were a mix of baby boomers and, as they like to be called, the greatest generation age folks. And there's some laughter I see here on Zoom. So what they were looking for was the interplay between spirituality and resilience, or how spirituality is a pathway to resilience that ultimately leads to a sense of well-being and spiritual growth for the people, the participants in that study. So what they found, and this, I'll give a list here, what they found in this study was that spirituality was an important and vital aspect of managing hardship and adversity, that spirituality served as a powerful tool and resource that promoted coping, resilience, and well-being. For several of the participants in the study, they reported calling on their spiritual or religious orientation in the face of adversity resulted in spiritual growth, spiritual strengthening, and spiritual transformation. They found that all the participants discussed the importance of relationships with members of their social support group, and also with their divine or spiritual support system through their various congregations and friends and pastors and so on like that. They all relied on that kind of thing. The researchers found that most in the study also talked about intentionality and commitment, that the intention and commitment to rely on spiritual beliefs and spiritual practices such as rituals, prayer, and meditation, and a positive belief in the power of the divine, however they defined it and experienced it, that was another critical factor for them, that they really intended and committed to apply their religious beliefs to whatever their circumstances were, and that allowed them to be resilient around the adversity. They found a good number in the study had confidence in their belief structures, and many showed an openness and contentedness to sit in the space of ambiguity and uncertainty in relationship to the identified adversity. That sitting in openness and contentedness in the space of ambiguity and uncertainty, it just seems like such a powerful and most relevant skill. A Psychology Today article described this ability to sit in ambiguity as an ability to regulate one's emotions in the face of adversity. This trust in spirit essentially allowed for calm and patience in the face of the adversity. And they concluded this study with a humorously worded recommendation for further research that I just wanted to share because it made me laugh, that it is time to look more carefully and consistently at the lives of spiritually resilient elders at congregations and communities around the world. They can teach us how to live, seek justice, and show mercy in spite of our hard hearts. I don't know where the hard heart, they hadn't mentioned hard hearts prior in the study, but I thought that was an interesting thing. So this 2019 study is not really telling us we don't know here at the Positive Living Center, but I like seeing a fairly recent study that is a popular secular resource support what we all already know, that reliance on what we believe, committing to it, intending to use it, that's how we get through any sorts of adversities that show up in our lives. So the capacity to connect with other people was a key for resilience and well-being for children. And this connection, trust, and reliance on our own spiritual beliefs, values, practices, and community is key to resilience for those of us who are no longer children. And so it is. Thank you.
Thank you, John. That was wonderful. It makes me more and more grateful when I have my grandchildren reach out to me and they make the comment of, Grandma, I've got something really important to talk about. And it's like, well, let's sit down and tell me what you think. And as John mentioned, I think listening is part of that gift, and respecting children at any age. It's really important. Studies are kind of interesting, a little narrow there. Are we going to have more music from Missy, or will we go to our spiritual talk?
We can go ahead and have music from Missy.
Okay.
Yes, I have another song.
Thank you, Missy. We're trying to find you on Zoom.
I'm here. I've already pinned me. So this is a song called "One in Harmony." It's another one I wrote based on Ernest Holmes, some of Ernest Holmes' stuff from the Science of Mind textbook. God is spirit, God is music and harmony. I am one within spirit and with the song of life. I am one with love, grace, and with harmony. I am one with the wholeness and goodness of God. I am one with the wholeness and goodness of God. I am one. All things, all people are within and as God. All are one within spirit and with the song of life. We are one with love, grace, and with harmony. We are one with the wholeness and goodness of God. You are one with the wholeness of goodness of God. I am one with the wholeness of goodness of God. We are one. God is spirit, God is music and harmony. We are one with the spirit and goodness of God. We are one with the spirit and goodness of God. We are one.
We are one. I'd like to invite Joe Bull up for his presentation today. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I better do this while I'll get talked to about it. There I am. Wonderful conversation listening to John this morning about the children and those kind of things. As I'm glad that you're doing well, John. I'm glad you're healing up toward your travels very soon. Today, I want to talk to you about unity. And I want to start with our spiritual practice. Now, I've talked to you about spiritual practices before and about using that practice to help us, guide us, and direct us. Now, however your spiritual practice works for you, please keep doing that. If it works for you, it's a daily practice, isn't it? Pretty soon it becomes automatic. It just does. It's never too late to start. That's the beauty of it. This unity with the source, meaning God's Spirit, we connect with it because of the infinite possibilities that are unlimited. the music we've heard today, some of the comments we've heard today is already talking about the unlimited. Everything is unlimited to us, all of us. Uniting with spirit, with source brings our awareness level to a higher good. Unity defined. There's one meaning for you: the quality of state of being made one. The quality or state of being made one. Another meaning from the Bible: unity stands for love in the presence of hatred, forgiveness in the presence of injury. Unity honors the many names for God, the many paths to God, the many ways to worship God. There are many paths, one God. Yes? Many paths. There is only one power and presence of God, and God loves each of us equally, all of us, everywhere. If we find a conflict within us, what can we do to resolve that? Well, first of all, I think as Reverend Judy mentioned, let's get quiet. Let's get quiet and we can get clear. We can get very clear. Allow our emotions to calm so we can get crystal clear. Emotions are amazing things, aren't they? For the most part, I don't like emotions. I've never have. My wife knows that. I've always envied Spock from Star Trek because he, as a Vulcan, was able to keep his emotions in check. And I've always wanted to be that sort of guy, but it's not who I am. When our awareness levels arise to connect with God, our source, it can happen in any situation, good, bad, or indifferent. Otherwise, we find ourselves in our idle time, perhaps falling into envy, jealousy, not enoughness, maybe a pity party for ourselves. This negative paradigm seems to permeate throughout our day, doesn't it? We start out having a tough day, it seems like it gets tougher unless we stop and get clear again. We can change it almost instantly through our spiritual practice, our connection with Source, to remind us of who and what we truly are. Before I go any further, I want to tell you a story about a friend of mine, very dear friend. He's a very devout Christian. He lives down in the valley and he goes to a particular church almost all the time. And he was there last Sunday, and he's been hurting. He lost his dog, his beloved best friend dog, about 2 months ago now. He was listening to this minister who was there as a guest speaker, and he was moved by what the minister had to say. And after service, he walked up to the minister and thanked him for his talk. And he said, "You know, I almost want to cry because I just lost one of my best friends, my dog. But it makes me feel good to know that my dog is now alive on the other side." And the minister cut him off and said, "Animals don't have souls. Dogs don't have souls." And my friend was stunned by that. And he says, "Joe, I didn't know what to say or do. I just didn't agree with that. And I just turned and walked away." I said, "I'm really sorry to hear that he said that to you." I said, "If I were you, I would have peed on his leg and walked away." But that's just me. Of course, animals have souls. We all have souls. All God's children have souls. So I'm hoping I said it enough to him that he's starting to come back from that and be okay. Please repeat this after me. I'm walking in my spiritual practice.
I am walking in my spiritual practice.
In love, in passion, in harmony.
In love and passion and harmony.
With everything.
With everything.
In step with my source every moment.
In step with my source every moment.
Hallelujah. Thank you for that. I'm not a big gambling kind of guy. I've been to casinos in my past. I played some of the games, you sit and you got the casino games all over, and I'm playing my video poker or whatever. And, I heard one of the machines go up just a few from me, and it was lighting up and people were applauding and, praising this winner. And I said, how much did that person win? He says, 2,500. And, I go, oh, yeah. Oh. I really didn't mean it. I was more envious than anything else and jealous. I'm like, why didn't that happen to me? Why did it happen for him? And, I try to reverse that by saying to myself, that's for me too. That's for me too. That's being a better sport at the same time, isn't it? And I quit gambling after that. I was like, I'm not very good at that. Lessons learned. I learned that I am worthy of all good things, as we all are. You cannot be someone else. I mean, we can apply something we think is good for us too, but we cannot be someone else. You got to do you. Did I say that right? Yeah. You got to do you, not somebody else. Feel the shift. You don't like the narrative? Change it. Open our mind of possibility to new ideas. To new ideas. The totality of God's Spirit is equal to all of us. Who holds us back from our good? We can probably name several people, right? Or things. Maybe families holding us back, neighbors, somebody's opinion about us. Do we just settle and say, well, this is just the way it is? This was the hand I was dealt. I've heard that several times. When I was a young boy growing up, I was very open to any ideas of what people thought of me. I was a wide open, vulnerable kid. And when someone said something negative to me, I bought in. I bought into it. And I'd go home and tell my mom about it. And she goes, that's not who you are. I go, well, that's what they think of me. She goes, it doesn't matter what they think. It matters what you think. So we don't have to accept any of that. It is our birthright to be happy, to enjoy our lives today forward, right now. So with all that said, who is holding us back from our unity of good, our want, or our potential? We are the only living beings that do that to ourselves. We are holding us back. No one else does. Reverend Angelo said this a long time ago, and I want to repeat it. We are, meaning you and I, the only species that are the only living beings on this planet that don't know who we really are. We really forget who we are. We can be swayed by others, swayed by other situations, and all of a sudden we decide that we're really not sure who we are. A rose is a rose, yes. It understands its unity with the high source. Animals, the four-legged kind, know who and what they are, both domestic and wild. Only us human beings seem to forget who we truly are, even though we know we are united with God and each other. We forget that. We get caught up in the day-to-day stuff, being out and doing, and sometimes dealing with the public, as we might say. Like this young lady said, she wanted to get away from the city. He came up to Oakhurst, and she's loving it up here. And that's how I feel about leaving the city as well. It feels good to be up here in community, where you can spread out a little bit and feel like you're a part of something and not just a number. So, and good for both of you. Very congratulations. We have some negative things happen to us or about us, and suddenly we focus on that, becoming one with it, and we own it. But what about our unity with God and what that brings to us? You could say, yeah, that's all fine and good, Joe, when things are going hunky-dory. But this is different. This situation is different. I get that a lot, though it's no different than anything else. We always go back to center, don't we? Always. God isn't just here when we are all doing fine. God is in everything in every moment. As a correctional officer years and years ago, when I first started in law enforcement business, I was standing talking with another fellow correctional officer outside of our lobby area of the jail. And there's a side door where people who get released from jail come out of that door all the time. And this gentleman came out, had obviously been released, and he had a Bible in his hand. And I swear to God, he walked over to a Dipsy dumpster and tossed the Bible in that and went on about his business. And I looked at my partner and I said, wow, I guess he figures that that's when he needed God, when he was in jail, but not anymore. I thought it very interesting that he tossed that. We need only remind ourselves we are connected, united with Source in all things. Everything we need is already here. God and you and I have got this together. We begin our day with something to drink in the mornings, right? Coffee, tea, water, whatever it is you like. And we shower or bathe, kind of get that feeling of feeling clean and fresh, put fresh clothes on. We're ready to take on another day. How about we do the same thing with our minds? Begin with a clear mind, a good attitude, grateful for another day on this planet. In the mornings, every single morning, I get up and say, good morning, God. Thank you, God, for this day again on this planet. I am so blessed to be here. So blessed for another opportunity. And at night, I say my same kind of prayers. Good night, God. I'll see you in the morning. I want to awake God right here where I am and take on another day on this fabulous planet. And it just puts me right to sleep. And in the morning, it's a great way to start my day. No matter what I got on my mind to take care of, we all have duties and things we need to do. But if we take that time to get connected and just say, thank you, God, for this day, for this opportunity, for my health, for all that I have, it's a great way to start. Well, we just had an event here at the center. Some of you guys know that. You were here. We had a Labyrinth Walk. I've been to those before. I'd never walked it before because I really wasn't sure about it or understanding it. But we had it right here in this center because this floor is a labyrinth. And we had people show up and we began with some music and some prayers. And I walked the labyrinth. And it's like something took over me. I didn't have to even think about what I wanted to do or say. I just walked it. And I was releasing like crazy as I'm walking through this Labyrinth Walk. I was releasing and letting go of things that don't serve me anymore. And near the end of my walk, I was receiving good. It was a great washing. I was crying and I was also rejoicing at the same time. It's amazing, amazing. So I want to thank Luana for putting that together. We will have more of those, by the way. Life's script. If we don't like a certain aspect, a script part in our lives, we have the power to change it, right? It takes courage, doesn't it? It's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy. It takes courage to make big changes. In the Science of Mind textbook, Dr. Ernest Holmes reminds us that the unity of good is a revelation of the greatest importance, for it teaches us that we are truly one with the whole, the source, and one with each other. The connection with God and the actual brotherhood of mankind will be made apparent on earth to the degree that we realize our true unity. And so it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Joan. We are one. We are the vehicle in which Source manifests, and we experience our connection with that. Very powerful. Thank you, Joan. We have a healing circle on the third Sunday of the month. And when we have that circle, there is a sense of energetic that comes into the room. And I highly suggest that you come and participate. It's a lovely sense of receiving all the things that we think we might lack, where others know we have it and that we're full and rich and healthy and loved. So that's a wonderful aspect. And now we have the time for the offertory. And I'd like to, Barney, would you come up and help with the offertory? And Patty, are you good?
Because I just told my friend I'm going to do something I've never done and go up and collect for the offertory. In all of the years, a quarter century I've been coming here. So that is, oh my goodness, Judy. That is so amazing.
Welcome to the club.
I'm serious. That's right. Did I just say that? I didn't tell you what I was going to do. All right.
So let's do the offertory prayer. Divine love flowing through me, blesses and increases all that I give and all that I receive. We want to thank you for your financial support for the Positive Living Center. We are a nonprofit 501c3, and your generosity of spirit continually brings the power of love and the ability to transform lives and to support this building and all the activities that we have planned in the upcoming year. And Missy will have a address to be able to donate if you're on Zoom, or go to the iFocus, and there is a button there that you can make your donations with. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your help. I always believe that collectively we are more powerful, and when we start to recognize that it takes just the thought of any issue and we can build together with that. I'd like to also mention how wonderful the Labyrinth was and how surprised a lot of people were at the gift that they received, simply taking time, walking a path, going to your center, and spending just a few moments in that graceful sense of being. And then when we come out, we take that gift with us and we share that harmony out in the world. I'm going to ask, are there any announcements? Anything anyone wants to talk about, or have there an activity coming up? What you got, Jay?
Yes, I do want to give thanks. I want to give thanks to everybody who volunteered. There were so many great volunteers for the Labyrinth experience. First of all, we made the choice that we were going to do this first one within only a few weeks of the actual event. So it was very quick. Then people stepped forward, Reverend Judy being one of them, Reverend Sandy, we had Patty, we had Reverend Kim on flute, We had Cheyenne on guitar. I can see them in my mind's eye from the experience. We also had,
Patty on mono.
who?
Patty was on the mono drum.
Oh, yes. Patty was also playing the drum. And then we also had Brenda on the crystal bowls. And each of them jammed together with the purpose of the support of the people walking the labyrinth. It was stunning. Reverend Judy, of course, on the mother drum. It was so wonderful. Gypsy helping us with the setup. Also, Humberto, if you haven't met him by the Gypsy name. And then also for setup was it Shay? Woohoo, Shay! And so it was so appreciated. Leo helped with setup and even came afterwards to help with put away. We saved put away until Saturday, so it was just yesterday. That way we could kind of just sit in that labyrinth experience. So please keep in mind, every quarter we're going to be doing the labyrinth experience, every quarter. And if I just said my heartfelt appreciation about someone you know, one of your favorites here in the community, and they're not here right now, don't hesitate to pass the word to them, to let them know. It's a double appreciation from us and from you. So thank you so much.
Actually, I have something.
Yes.
Okay, Barney.
I have a lot of fear and stress. It comes and goes. And like Joe was saying today, sometimes we can just flip that switch. So I'm dreading right now, my greatest block, and I procrastinate on it, is actually putting words to paper. I can blather on forever. But when it comes down to doing that, something that is incumbent upon me that I have to do for a whole network and team of people is to write something. And it's so hard for me to do that. And listening to John today and what he had to say about connection, I have a 1-minute story. And it's about how trees work. Trees gather two things, and plants gather two things from above the ground: sunshine and carbon, and they make sugars. And then they take half those sugars and they put them down to bacteria and mycelium. And the mycelium are mushroom roots. And mushroom roots and the bacteria deliver the things that the tree needs in order to be a tree. It's a connection and a symbiotic relationship. So there's a guy named Paul Stamets, who I know you know, and he actually covered up one tree completely so it couldn't photosynthesize. And if a plant can't photosynthesize, it can't live. It can't exist. It will die. And there were two other trees, two other species of trees, speaking to what you said about the soul being through everything. And I believe that God is everything. Everything is God. And so I am part and parcel of God, as is Judy, as is Joe, as everyone. So Paul Stamets covered up this tree so it couldn't photosynthesize, so it couldn't live. And then there are other trees there. And the connection part is that the mycelium actually took sugars from those other two trees and delivered them to that tree that was covered up, that couldn't produce sugars and couldn't live without those sugars. So it did everything it could to keep that other tree alive. And I think about my brother who had cerebral palsy, who couldn't walk or talk and barely breathe, who lived with us my whole childhood. And he couldn't have existed without us listening to his eyes and giving him water and food. That he would have perished from this earth almost immediately as a baby, and yet he lived to be 48 years old. And he loved us, and he had this light of love and this consciousness in his body. So today here, I feel a real connection to all of you. And and there's another thing. I can flip my fear in my of writing into, I can trick my brain, because the brain is a wonderful tool, but a lousy master. I can trick my brain into maybe being excited about this new challenge of trying to write. And my friend last night gave me a new tool. I could talk into my into my little box. And I was scared to death, and now I'm a little less scared because of that connection and just kind of stumbling into her. So thank you very much. It's a complete surprise to see you here today. So that's all. I love you all.
That's perfect, Barney. It brings us into this sense of the power of prayer and the power of knowing that the practitioners here can sit with you and connect where a person might feel this gap within their being, and we can see them as whole and holy and clear and perfect. And when we can hold that energy for each other, we are unlimited. When we fall into the old habit of thinking we lack something, then we start to falter into this old belief system. I always like to use the term remember who you really are. Reconnect to source and creator. And the practitioners are always available. Joe Bull takes prayer requests, and we all pray for that individual, whatever that issue is. This works, this shifts, this changes. If we believe we're well and whole and healthy, things change to that positive belief system. And this is why we come together, not to feel less, but understand we are more than what we've ever been taught. And I think we're all grateful to know that. And Joe has been available on the phone, through email. You can go to iFocus and have a talk with someone. You are not alone. And a lot of people feel alone, like the kids that Joan Lamont talked about. Our youth have no idea how to reach out, become more. So I believe our next week's speaker is Sandy Rest, and that will you be our prayer partner today? Mm-hmm. And so Sandy, if after our gathering, you would like to speak to someone, grab one of the practitioners. I'm one, Joe's one, anybody else, LJ. We're here for you because we know that you are here to make a change in this life journey. I'm going to do the prayer of protection, and it's on that little card. Say with me if you choose, or say it quietly, whatever works. The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. The presence of God watches over me. The energy of God is me. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. And so it is. Sandy, would you like to pray us out?
Just close your eyes and take some deep breaths in and out. Settle in to all of the knowings and the words that you heard today. Let them filter down to every cell in your body, becoming more and more the truth of your being. Oh, there is only God. And in the beauty of this, we have come together today, and we will go out into the world when we leave from here, taking that with us. Go out being God. Go out with your heart out picturing and outpouring with love, for the world needs us. And it's a beautiful world, and I give such glorious thanks for that which is ours. And say with me, please, and so it is.
Does Missy have another song? We're going to find out if we have one more song from Missy.
Yes.
Doo-doo-doo.
I have a
Okay.
song about community.
Excellent.
It's one of Sandy's and Reverend Sandy's favorite songs, and one of mine too. Weave us together, weave us together in unity and love. Weave us together, weave us together, together in love. We are different instruments playing our own melodies, each one tuning to a different key. But we are all playing in harmony, in one great symphony. Weave us together, weave us together in unity and love. Weave us together, weave us together, together in love. A moment ago, still we did not know our unity, only diversity. Now the Christ in me greets the Christ in thee in one great family. Weave us together, weave us together in unity and love. Weave us together, weave us together, together in love. Weave us together, weave us together in unity and love. Weave us together, weave us together, together in love. Namaste.
Thank you, Missy. Lovely. And as we go out into our day, share your beauty. Don't be afraid. Be strong. Be clear. Know you are filled with loving energy, and it never goes away. It's continuous, no shortage, always flowing. You are rich and you are loved.